Hello, this is Mark Snyder with Worshipsong Band, and in this video I'm going to take you through the process of adding a PDF score sheet to Worshipsong Band song. And so what that's going to do is it's going to give you the ability, if the user selects, to display a PDF score sheet instead of the built-in chord chart. So in this particular case, when you want to see a score sheet, you can go over to your settings and you'll notice on the chord display I can display worship song band chords or lyrics or Nashville numbers. Then I have all of these other PDFs that can be displayed. These are basically the options for what you can call score sheets when you put them in. And then any particular user using that song, if that type of score sheet is in the app, can choose to display that instead of the chords and chord chart display. So in this particular case, I want to click Display PDF Lead Sheet because when I'm editing and when I'm done, that's what I want to see my chords be for this song. So right now it's still showing me chords. That's because there is no lead sheet in this song yet. We're going to add one and you're going to see how it's going to look at the end. So the process for adding the score sheet is you first put the song in edit mode by pressing E. Okay, and then you'll see the text editor over here. We might refer to that later. And I'll show you kind of what happens with the score sheet as you build out your PDF score. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this Edit Scores mode. Right now, this is telling me there are no scores in the song because if there were, when I click the lead sheet, I would see some image files in here. So we're going to go ahead and add them. The way the adding works is there's a converter to convert the PDF into high resolution images built into the app, and we're going to use that converter now to add this lead sheet. So what I do is I take my PDF file here that I showed you before. I'm going to drag it onto the app, and it's going to say import PDF score from wherever it is on my disk into Worshipsong Band. I'm going to click OK, and it's going to go ahead and do that. It only takes a second, basically. Um, um, and so what I do here at this stage is I select which one it is. I want this to be a lead sheet. Then I click Import PDF, and it basically brings it in. It says it added 3 PDF files. That's because it took each page of the score and made it a separate image. Okay, so I've got that. And now I still don't see anything. That's because what happened was it edited the score. Put the images into my zip file, and it added a section down here for that score in my file. So what I'm going to do now is click Save Reload. It's going to load up that score into the app and give me kind of the default view of it. So the default view in this case is all it did is it basically uh, guessed at where I wanted the pages to be because it doesn't know anything about how these pages line up with the song. That's what we're going to do by editing it. But the first thing we want to do is to trim off the parts of the score that we don't want. So in this particular case, I'm going to click Set Clip. Okay, and you'll notice here I now see the entire score in Worshipsong Band. So if I just kind of naively said we're going to show the whole page, this is the size, what the size of the score would be. So it would be pretty much useless unless you had a gigantic screen. But what I'm going to do is I'm gonna drag these little red corners down and up so that I trim the score to the part of it I actually want to see in the app, and I don't see the rest. Okay, um, so you're going to see that little red box. We call that the clipping box because it's clipping off the parts, like taking scissors and clipping off the parts we don't need. So I'm going to do that with this page. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to because whenever you get a lead sheet with multiple pages, the margins on the left and right are always going to be the same. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to click to sheet 2 and I'm going to click paste. And so now I've got my left-right margins the same. I'm just going to drag the top and bottom so that I just trim off the part of the score I actually want. Okay. Then I'm going to go to lead sheet 3, paste again, do the same. So now basically when I close this clip editor with this little red X, you're going to see that I have trimmed off the lead sheet, and I see only the part of the music that I actually want. The rest is just not going to be displayed. So I'm going to leave this one like this for my clipping. I like that. And so the next thing we have to do is to lay out where the pages change or where they scroll to a different part of the page as we play the song. So if you actually listen to this song now, and then you can look at the score and you can figure out where you want it to change. So basically,
intro 2, 3, 4.
so you can see the music matches what
Verse
he's got
2,
in there here.
3, 4.
So far so good. This is what I would want to see. Okay, so now I would want to scroll the page. So here's how you would basically set it up to scroll the page. So what we're doing here is we're working along this what we call this timeline bar, and this timeline bar is basically where each page or scrolled part of the page, we call it a showing, lies along the timeline. And so you can see right now it would change to page 2 here. That's obviously not what we want because we're missing part of the score. And so what happens is with this editor, if you click on this bar in various places, you're going to see options basically. Okay, so right now what that offered me was I could add a page number 1 at the cursor, I could add a page number 2, or add a page number 3. What I want is to set a break on my page number 1 so that it scrolls. So I think I'm in the right place. You can just listen to it. 2, 3, 4. So I'd want it to change right there. And what I wanted to do is to break at cursor. So basically I want page 1, I want a break of page 1 at the cursor. So basically it's going to give me a break, but the thing I need to tell it is where do I want to break to, because it doesn't really know where the music is relative to my audio. So you can click on this little break icon and you can say set break top. Okay, now you see these little blue bars. These little blue bars are going to be where you want it to go. So I think we basically we're right here. So we're going to just basically set the break right there, close it. Now we can test it out and see if it does what we want.
Chorus 2, 3, 4.
So I think that's pretty much right. You might want it a little bit later, but I'm not going to fine tune all this as we go, because the point is to kind of show you how the process works. Okay. So that's the example of basically setting a page and setting a break. So if I wanted page 2 to now come in, so first of all, I don't want it to go to page 2 here because I'm still on page 1. So I'm gonna drag my cursor over here, and I'm gonna say sync to cursor to move my page 2 out. And so then we're gonna check the operation of the second half of page 1 here.
Chorus 2, 3, 4.
So it's going to be all of this turnaround he's got here is going to all be on this page. So that's all this stuff.
Verse 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so now we got verse 2 coming up, but it's actually not on page 2, it's at the bottom of page 1. So what we want to do in this case is we want to add another break to page 1. And the way we do that is we're going to add another page 1 and we're going to have it to display right on the break. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, click here and say add a page 1 at the cursor because I want page 1 again. Okay, then I'm going to click on page 1 and I'm going to say break it cursor to basically add a break that happens right away. Then I'm going to click here and say set break top and I'm going to go down way to the bottom so I can pick up that bottom part, which is this right here. Okay, so now we can check the operation after the turnaround.
Verse 2, 3, 4.
So that's okay. You might want to fine tune that, but that's fine.
Chorus 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, so I think what we wanted here was for it to go to page 3 right at the beginning of that chorus because I think that's how he's got this set up.
Chorus 2, 3, 4.
Actually, my bad. That's not page 3. It's page 2 that should be there. So I'm gonna move page 3 out here, and I'm gonna make page 2 come in right there. Okay, so I think that's what we got here.
Chorus 2, 3, 4.
Right, and in that case, what happened was I picked up the bottom, the bottom of page 1. What we really want is to jump to page 2 a little bit earlier, so we can just do that. So you can see how you can refine this how you want. Basically, you can get it to work exactly how you want it.
Chorus
That's not
2,
quite right, but I'm not
3,
going to belabor
4.
it. So you would basically move these pages or these breaks around to where you needed them to be. And so if you get to the case, for instance, where you need to jump backwards in the lead sheet, you can just go back to a prior page and do that. So in this particular lead sheet, it doesn't have like verse 1, verse 2, 3D on verse 3 on the first page. But if it did, like if you needed to go to verse 3 and go back to page 1, you would insert another page 1 and land wherever you wanted to go on it, basically. And that's how you would do it. And so then you would basically complete this song out the way that you want it to be. And all the time we've been doing this, it's basically been writing out this this little section here in the file, which is actually where the data you entered is saved. So you basically click Save Reload here to reload the song and save it, and it's just like any other in-app edit mode. You now have that lead sheet in your song. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the completed song that I did before so you can see how we got it all to lay out and operate, and I'm going to show you the operation of the app. Okay, so now we have the song loaded with a completed lead sheet in it, but you're not seeing it because my setting is set to display WSB chords. So the way that the PDF lead sheet functionality or any score works is that they're in the song, but they're only displayed if you select them. You can select to display what you want on any particular display in network mode, and they'll be served from the master. So like if your band has three people that want to see chord charts and two people who want to see lead sheets and one person who wants to see a tab, a guitar tab, you could set up your tab as a second score the way I just showed you. You could set up a different thing, and then each person on the network could pick what they want to see, and the app will serve out that score to whoever asks for it on that network mode. So basically, you can have everybody kind of has their own thing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch this mode to display PDF lead sheet. I'm going to go back to my chord view, and now you see it's showing me the lead sheet instead. And I don't see any of the edits or pages anymore because that's only needed when you're actually editing the score. Okay. And so if you start playing here, you'll see the operation.
Intro 2, 3, 4.
And so what happens is as you scroll along here, you'll see it move, and then it shows you that little green arrow which kind of warns you that it's about to move, so you know your score is going to change.
Chorus 2, 3, 4.
Like that. And then you can always just kind of see what's going to happen by scrolling it along like this. And if you jump back, so like if I go from chorus here back to verse 1, or from that turnaround to verse 1,
2, 3, 4.
it'll just drop into the score wherever it should be. So this lead sheet will just kind of go back to what should be shown at that point.
3, 4.
So it doesn't try to predict with the jump. It just kind of, when you move, it automatically jumps. The operation of the app is such that wherever the timeline is, that's the score it shows. And so it doesn't try to build it from each piece based on your jumping around or anything like that. Anyway, so that's really all you need to know to add scores. If you want to remove a score from the app, you just really have to take it out of the tracks.txt file. So like if I wanted to get rid of this score from the app, I could just hit E here. And then I could just remove this block from my song, and it would go away. The other thing you can do, if you just want to make your things smaller, your song smaller, you could open up your score with like a zip editor like this, and you can just remove these PNG files. But you can see these PNG files really aren't very big. They're like a lot smaller than any of the audio files. So this adding a bunch of PDF scores is not going to bloat up your songs if you decide to do that.